Hi, my name is Maria, and welcome to the podcast Connected. This is a podcast for soulful creators and founders, but really for anyone who wants to live a fulfilled life and wants to create it out of alignment instead of the pressure. And today I would like to talk about something I know very well because I know what it feels like when you're deeply called to create something, but at the same time exhausted of the way that you are building it. So in today's episode, I would like to talk about both sides. How does it feel like when we create out of pressure, stress, performance, and this whole hustling mode, basically survival mode? And how does it feel like when we create out of connection, out of alignment, and what's the creation in this term, in the creation of flow? And I lived both, so I'm talking from my own lived experience, and this is the perspective that I'm gonna talk from. So I know very well how you feel if you are in this constant pressure and stress, running and chasing, because this is how it feels. I've been there for many years, and I know how it feels that you are working hard, you are working long hours, you are educating yourself, you are developing yourself, you are learning the productivity hacks, you are choosing the right strategies. You simply feel that you are doing everything possible, but still it's not clicking, and something is always missing. And this is the thing, that this is the mode which is actually the survival mode for our internal system that most of us create from. And this is the mode where our worth is tied to outcomes. So we need those to actually feel worthy. We are doing things because we are proving ourselves. We are actually in this mode chasing the goals. We are chasing constantly something that's out there. This is the mode where we are disconnected. This is the mode where we are actually not living our days. And I know what I'm talking about. So at the end of the day, you feel like you've done a lot. You might feel even beaten up because it was so much running, so much hustle, so many tasks, so such a long to-do list. And maybe you feel like you did a lot, but somehow it doesn't feel enough. Somehow it doesn't feel like it. Even if you achieve your goals, it doesn't feel like it, because it never feels enough. There is always this feeling that somehow it's running in front of you and you are chasing it. And at the end of the day, you always have this feeling like behind your back, this pressure, this push, like you have to, you have to. There is this you have to. And that is what makes you run and chase. And I know very well, I lived in this state for so many years. And it is actually not about the strategy, because you might have all this and something is still missing. The worst part, or at least from my perspective, is that you don't actually get to live your days. You don't feel fulfilled in your life, in your days, because you don't actually get to be there. You don't get to be there with those that you want to be there, whether it's your kids or your loved ones or simply your friends and family, because even if you are there physically, you are not really there. So you cannot be creating that connection fully. And it's not only connection with people, it's also connection with things that you are doing. So you are experiencing a huge lack of being connected to your daily life. That's why you don't feel like fulfilled at the end of the day. It feels like carrying a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, constant chasing, and you are craving for the peace. You are craving the rest. You are craving to stop and just, when is it finally coming so that I can stop? And I know, but it's not working this way. And at the same time, if I would tell you right now that your key is to stop and slow down, it wouldn't actually feel as a relief, but it would feel scary. Because after many years in this running and hustling mode, stop, slow down, that's scary. That's fear at the driver's seat, because it's like, I'm gonna lose something, I'm gonna miss out on something. So it's actually not even that easy to stop and slow down. And I know what I'm talking about when I'm gonna tell you that I know that you might have troubles actually resting, like literally rest on, or be in the stillness. Like you want to rest, but you are not able to rest. There is always something to do. There is that inner trigger to always do something. So the rest is really not the rest, even if you try to do that. Being with the people that you want to be is not really fully being there with those people. So at the end of the day, you are tired, you're exhausted. This is all very energy draining, and the end destination, maybe some of you are there or were there already, is burnout. And I've been there personally too. This is what happens when we live and work like this for a very long time. So sooner or later, this is the state where we come to. It's a burnout, and it's not a nice place to be. That's not a holiday that we want to take. And the missing piece, the invisible missing piece that is here, and I'm saying invisible because it's not there at the first glance, and I know because I've been in many projects in many companies, and you might feel the same way, like, I know I'm doing this right, I'm doing this, I've been there in those companies, in those projects, and I saw how I know everything, but it's not enough, because it wasn't about the knowledge, it wasn't about the strategies, it wasn't about the structures. It was about something invisible, and that's nervous system regulation, and that's limiting beliefs, which are literally invisible because they're subconscious. So we are not aware of them until we start being more conscious, aware, and regulated. So this is the missing piece. And on the other side of this is creation from connection. And creation from connection looks very different. Creation from connection looks with more ease, with clarity. You're in the flow. You're actually enjoying what you are doing. The path unfolds. You are seeing the next steps. You're using the right strategies because they're aligned. You're feeling energized. You get to enjoy the time with the people that you want. You're setting your boundaries. And what I'm naming here, this is not a dream. This is a reality. This is something that I live now too. I know both sides. And this is really possible. This is not something that would be woo-woo. This is simply on the other side of the regulated nervous system. Because the regulated nervous system is a state where you can also catch your subconscious beliefs. And as soon as you are being aware of them, you can start rewiring them, and you can start changing your reality. And nervous system regulation is something that at that point didn't simply come to me like, oh, okay, so the missing piece is gonna be the nervous system regulation, so I'm gonna search some books and education and get on this journey, embark, and let's go. No, it started with steps that I did as my lived experience, where I moved, how I started to live my days, and it's been quite a journey. It will be 4 more episodes, but now what I want to highlight here, it was doing simple things in the everyday life for a few minutes, because you cannot stop completely. It will be scary. It's starting to do little changes bit by bit, day by day, but consistently, so that you actually start rewiring your brain and your nervous system to a different state. It needs to feel safe. It needs to stop feeling safe while being in stress, because that is what happened in the previous mode. It just coded yourself that safe is stressful, because you were in that mode for so long that it simply coded itself that, okay, this is what we know, this is what is familiar, because it just wants to keep you in the familiar, so we keep you here. So you need to start creating that change for the safety. And there are simple things in the daily life that you can do. So it's actually about not doing more, it's about doing things differently, and start doing things differently in the everyday life so that you start regulating yourself. And then the connection and the creation from connection is something what will literally change the way you create and you work, because you will not act out of urgency anymore. You will not be in the reactive mode, you will respond instead. Because in the previous mode, every launch was out of urgency and with the survival mode. But here, it's different. You are there with calmness. You are there with clarity. You simply see you are making the right decisions. You are making the right steps. You are able to choose the exact things that you are supposed to do to move the needle. You are not doing anymore the unnecessary 100 million moves that you are not supposed to do, you don't have to do, and so on. You are setting your boundaries firmly and confidently. You are saying no where it's no. So you are not saying yes anymore to people, things, and situation where it's simply no, because it's not aligned with yourself, your vision, your work, and so on. So there are so many things that start to shift, and you start to operate from a very different space and place. And it's not anymore like, oh my God, I have to do that, and the to-do list is so long, and no energy of doing that, because that's how it feels in that mode. But it starts to be, I'm literally excited when I get to work, because I'm so happy about it. I am connected when I'm there. I am in the flow. I'm in the creative energy. My emotions when I do that are so elevated that I'm simply happy while I'm doing it. It flows. I'm in there. And of course, it's not that I wouldn't be doing anything. I'm working hard, we can say. But it's not the same hard as in the previous mode, because I'm doing it from a completely different state. I'm actually even working less hours if we would put the metrics there, but the outcomes are, let's say, easier, bigger, better, because it simply is with ease, it's with clarity. And also the enjoyment, I have to say that, and this is not to sell something, this is to really tell you that this is not a dream, this is how it can really look like. Because you actually can enjoy the ride, you can enjoy the process while going to your end destination. And it is something what you maybe heard or read, but it cannot come out of the head. Those things have to stop coming out of the head, and they have to start coming out of a different space and place. We have to start getting more coherent. And that's when it starts clicking. That is when you start creating from connection. That is when your strategy is fully aligned. That is when your decisions are fully aligned. That is when your team and the people you are working with are fully aligned, because you simply see, you know, you are making the right decisions. So the impact is huge on the way how you work, how your daily work day looks like, how you create, what products you actually create, how you price them, how you position them, what's inside of them, how you market them. Everything is created from a different state, and it feels good. It doesn't feel like the pressure anymore. And also important part that I want to mention here is that it's not only about how you work, it's also about how you live your day, because this is, of course, not impacting only the way you create, the way you work, the way you do the products, etc., and align the strategies. This is also how you are able to look back at your day, and you can finally say, I lived my day. I can look back and I can literally say I lived my day because I was there present, I was there connected, I was doing the things that I wanted, and I was really there, because this is actually the thing, being present there, being connected, being grounded. And this is not a woo, this is a real life. I'm gonna talk about some of those things in the next episodes, but what I want to mention here and really emphasize here is that you get to live your life, you get to the point where you can say, it's fulfilled, my day was fulfilled. And it's not about that the bad things stop happening, or the bad situations, or there will be no more negative emotions. No, that's impossible. Actually, that's what makes us human beings. So they will stay. The difference is, when you are in this regulated, connected state, you are able to look at those things, situations, places, people from different perspective, and from a state where you are able to walk through this without you spiraling down, without you getting knocked down. So this is a huge difference, because you can stay centered and you can walk firmly through those situations, even though they are hard, even though they are hard. So, and this is not a fairy tale, this is a reality I am living literally. So this is what you can get out of the connected state. And of course there are moments of grief and so on, but it's not about suppressing those moments, it's about embodying those moments and walking through them. So basically coming back to your center and coming back to yourself faster than before. So you don't stay stuck, you don't stay spiraled down, you don't move even to the worst stages, but actually you do the opposite. So at the end of the day, this is not about work and creation only, it is about how you get to live your life. That's why I am saying that this connection is about work and life at the same time. That's connected battles. And this is what this podcast, Connected, is going to be about. It is about life, work, and creation from connection. I will always be talking from lived experience, what I walked through and what I'm walking through as I'm walking the shift myself. So if you join me on this journey, I will be happy. And I will simply talk from different perspectives on all of those topics, so that you can get some inspirations for your life, some hints, maybe some aha moments, or whatever you can take from here. I will simply share what I went through, what I am going through, and how does it look like. So get connected.